Hi, y'all. We're tuned in for another episode Inside the Interview. I'm your host, Andreas, and if you have not, you can watch the previous interviews, Inside the interviews as well, ft.Radio show owner, founder, proprietor. But I wanted to bring this interview, inside look to this interview with Temeka Thomas, history for how that interview came about back in 2020. We had conversations, I believe, via Instagram about interviewing her. The interview didn't happen until actually 2023. So just thinking about that puts a lot of things in perspective for me. One, when you build a platform and you're out there doing an interview style, sometimes those interviews take a long time to come to fruition. And this is one of those interviews, but it was definitely a great interview to be had. Some takeaways from this particular interview. One, Temeka was going through a lot of things in her life that led to her being an author. Temeka was going through a lot of things during her life for her to become an author. She's going through a divorce.
And I'm a very spiritual person because considering everything that I'd gone through, I literally turned to God. And so I wouldn't try to push anything on anybody else. I'm always telling people what worked for me. And so my identity before that, I was really shy. I was really reserved.
She's a single mom of 2 kids, and her job also had shutdowns. So there was a lot of things going on with her personally that led to her becoming an author. She used to have dreams and write down these dreams. You know, we dream a lot, but what do we do with those dreams? She decided to do something with them because she started listening to her instincts. And at first she was putting those dreams into a journal. She kept on with that and expressing that to her inner circle, and those dreams turned and manifest themselves into a book. And then talking to her with the interview, I think the interview is about 37 minutes long. I know this particular interview, as long as a lot of interviews I did in 2023 and moving forward, I wanted to meet people who I had not met before in person and wanted to broaden the scope of ft.Radio show, the platform, and the audience reach as well. So that's why I actually wanted to interview her. Not because, I haven't interviewed authors before, I had, but I wanted to reach out to more people and see what they're doing. Along with her being an author, she's also a motivational speaker. Along with being an author, she's also a motivational speaker, a visionary for herself, and a platform builder. And we talked about a lot of great things that came up during the interview. Like I said, she dove into personal aspects of her life, her being from Dublin, Georgia. For anybody out there, Dublin is a smaller community. Coming from that, listening to her intuition. I think a lot of people pull that from the interview, and if you have not, I want y'all to really go out there and check out the interview. A lot of people don't listen to their intuition, and our intuition or our gut feeling will lead us to roads that we probably traditionally would not travel down. So I learned a lot about her and what she was doing, and I actually need to follow up and see where she has progressed to at this particular point, because it's been almost 2 years since the interview aired. Originally it aired July of 2023, so it's coming up on 2 years. The best form of a compliment for those who do interview style podcasting is that you're such a good interviewer, or you asked a great or interesting question. People who start podcasts and you use the interview style podcast, we tend to forget that interviewees, when they're on media runs, get asked the same questions over and over and over, and it becomes monotonous. 500 million people listen to podcasts worldwide. That's a huge audience to tap into. Don't waste your time just starting. Use your time wisely by starting correctly. Hi, I'm Andreas, and I built ft.Radio show from 0 to 11,000 followers. And if you're trying to start a podcast, I wrote an ebook about it. Clear, concise,
You don't have to have the biggest audience. You don't even have to have an audience at all and still can monetize your podcast. Remember, everyone has a story. If you've been on the internet searching, there's a lot of information out there how to start your podcast and it can seem overwhelming. I believe in the KISS model. Keep it simple, stupid. Short, concise, straight to the point, all on the ebook. You can change your life in a week. Start your podcast, launch it, and monetize it. All within a week. You can go to the pay link, check out the book. You can also subscribe to the newsletter. Get more advanced techniques and lessons. You can change your life in a week.
It becomes boring, it's not exciting. So every time I do an interview, I purposely want to ask questions and present the interviewee in a manner to where no one else has presented them in that type of light. And around the 34-minute mark, she said that I was such a good interviewer, and that's the highest form of compliment, that anybody can get as a interviewer. So definitely check out the interview. And if you're out there, if you want to start a podcast, I wrote an ebook, how to start and launch your podcast and also monetize it. So definitely check that out. And for anyone out there who has a podcast or wanting to start a podcast with the interview style, I'm also working on that material as well. As always, follow Big Dot Radio Show across various social media platforms, and thank you for your support.